The galaxy had always laughed at Earth. To them, humans were the small, noisy creatures of a blue planet, a weak race trapped in their own tiny solar system. Across alien news networks, anchors and generals mocked them. Earth is a planet of dreamers, they said. They build weapons they never use. They fight each other, not us. To the Galactic Council, humanity was entertainment. But one quiet night changed everything. Deep in the military base under the ruins of Old Washington, the last leaders of Earth sat around a dim table. There were no smiles, no fear, only silence. A cold voice broke through the room. "It's time," said Commander Arlen, the final head of Earth Command. The officer beside him hesitated. "Are you sure, sir? Once we send it, there's no turning back." Arlen didn't blink. "They mocked us long enough. Let them laugh now." With a single nod, the officer pressed the transmission button. A message, small and simple, shot through space at light speed. Just 2 words, "We're ready." On the far edge of the galaxy, the Galactic Council received it. The hall filled with bright colors and alien sounds as the delegates read the message aloud. The laughter started almost immediately. The Varn Empire's general slammed his clawed hand on the table. "We're ready," he roared with amusement. "Ready for what?" "To surrender." Others joined the laughter. "Maybe they built another rocket that crashes," someone said. "Or perhaps their oceans finally boiled." No one took it seriously. Across the stars, the phrase, "We're ready," became a joke, spreading faster than light. It appeared on alien memes, comedy shows, and news headlines. "Earth's final joke," they called it. But not everyone was laughing. In a small observatory on the moon of Drenar 6, an alien scientist named Corys stared at the signal again and again. He noticed something strange. Behind the message was an encrypted pattern, repeating like a heartbeat. He tried to decode it, but the data shifted each time he looked. This isn't normal," Corys whispered to himself. His assistant laughed nervously. "It's just human nonsense." But Corys felt something different, something hidden inside the silence. Back on Earth, the planet had changed. The cities were quiet, the skies empty. Civilian broadcasts had stopped weeks ago. The oceans shimmered with faint blue light at night, and satellites vanished one by one from orbit. Inside the underground bases, millions of humans worked silently. No one spoke about what they were building, not even to each other. Children were taken underground. The surface world became still, like a planet holding its breath. Commander Arlen walked through the steel tunnels of the command bunker, his boots echoing with each step. "Are the sectors secure?" he asked. "All sectors locked," replied the AI voice, calm and emotionless. "Power is stable. Final phase ready." Arlen paused in front of a massive glass chamber glowing white. Inside it floated a sphere of light, spinning slowly, almost alive. "Project Black Dawn," he murmured. "You were never meant to exist, but now, you're all we have." The AI responded softly, "Commander, the galaxy will not understand." Arlen stared at the light. "They don't need to understand. They just need to remember." Far away, the alien fleets of the Varn Empire prepared for war. Thousands of ships gathered, their engines burning bright across the void. "We will show them their place," said the Varn Emperor, his golden armor reflecting the stars. "One attack, and Earth will beg for mercy." His advisor nodded, unaware of the fear growing in his heart. As their ships moved toward the solar system, strange reports began to spread. Energy readings from Earth dropped to 0. The planet's power grid disappeared from the sensors. Communication probes failed. Even the light from the planet seemed dimmer. The Varn Emperor frowned. "What are they doing?" he demanded. No one could answer. The closer they came to Earth, the quieter everything became. Radio silence, no signals, no defense. Just silence. It was as if Earth had vanished. The invasion fleet captain laughed nervously. "Maybe they're hiding underground, scared." The Emperor smirked. Let them hide. We will smoke them out. But as their scanners focused on Earth's surface, strange images appeared. Massive shadows under the crust, moving slowly, almost breathing. What is that? Whispered the navigator. Mountains shouldn't move. The Emperor leaned forward, his golden eyes narrowing. Prepare the attack, he ordered. Let's wake them up. Back in Earth Command, Arlen stood beside the glowing sphere. A final alert appeared on his screen. Varn fleet entering atmosphere in 12 minutes. He looked at the sphere one last time. They're coming, he said quietly. The AI's light pulsed brighter. We are ready. Outside, the first alien ships entered orbit. They saw a dead world, no lights, no sound, only clouds covering the surface. But deep beneath that silence, a low hum began to rise, spreading through rock, metal, and code. A sound like the heartbeat of the planet itself. For the first time, the galaxy stopped laughing. They didn't know it yet, but the message from Earth was never a warning. It was a promise. Across the stars, laughter still echoed. In every corner of the Galactic Council, aliens mocked Earth's final message. To them, the words "we're ready" were nothing more than a desperate bluff from a dying planet. On the Varn homeworld, enormous holographic billboards flashed with jokes about humans. Comedians performed skits of weak humans shaking in fear. The Varn Emperor himself watched one of these performances with a cruel smile. Let them believe they're ready, he said. When our ships reach their skies, they will learn what readiness means. His generals roared with laughter, but one of them, General Dravos, stayed silent. He had fought in hundreds of wars, but something about this silence from Earth felt wrong. He looked at the holographic map showing Earth's dark surface. Your Majesty, he said carefully, the planet's energy levels have dropped to nothing. It's not surrender, it's something else. The Emperor turned his gaze sharply toward him. You fear shadows, Dravos. They have nothing left to fight with. Dravos bowed slightly. As you command, my Emperor. Yet deep inside, unease twisted in his gut. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien networks played endless talk shows mocking humanity. The Krill anchor hissed with laughter on live broadcast. Humans sent 2 words to the galaxy, "We're ready," and then turned off their planet. Are they preparing a party or their funeral? Viewers filled the comments with laughing symbols. Some even made fake Earth warning alarms as a meme trend. The whole galaxy treated the message as a joke, except one scientist. Corys, from the moon of Dranar 6, had not slept for days. He stared at the message code again and again. Every time he ran a decryption program, the code shifted. It was alive, rewriting itself. He called his superior officer. Sir, I've discovered something inside the human message. The officer yawned. You're still wasting time on that nonsense? No, sir. Listen, Corys said urgently. It's not just a signal. It's reacting to observation. When I analyze it, the pattern changes as if it's watching me. The officer laughed. A message that watches back? Maybe you've been staring too long, scientist. Then he cut the transmission. Corys sat alone in his lab, feeling a chill crawl down his spine. It's not a joke, he whispered. They did something impossible. On the outer rim of the galaxy, the invasion fleets continued their preparations. The Varn Empire led the attack, but other species joined too, eager to witness Earth's humiliation. It was a show of dominance, not war. Thousands of ships, each larger than mountains, formed a glittering storm moving toward the blue planet. Reporters and soldiers broadcast live updates to the galaxy. In less than a day, said a young alien journalist, Earth will face the might of the galaxy. Perhaps this will finally silence their arrogance. But the silence belonged to Earth. As the fleets drew closer, they noticed something strange. No radio signals, no communication, no life readings. Not even weather movement. Earth seemed frozen. From the flagship Varn's Glory, General Dravos studied the readings. It's like the planet is asleep, he said quietly. The Emperor, sitting on his throne of golden steel, replied, "Then let us wake the sleeping child." Laughter filled the bridge, but it quickly faded when their sensors flickered. "Sir, I'm losing radar contact with the lower orbit," said the pilot. "What's wrong?" "I don't know. The scanners are fine, but the readings keep changing. Every time we scan Earth, it looks different." The Emperor frowned. "Send recon drones." Hundreds of metallic drones shot toward Earth's atmosphere. For a few moments, they transmitted clear data, then suddenly, all signals cut off. The screens turned black. "We've lost them," the pilot said. "All of them." "Impossible," the Emperor snapped. "They can't all fail at once." But they had. Not a single drone survived contact. Somewhere deep in Earth's atmosphere, something swallowed them whole. The alien commanders blamed technical errors, but whispers began spreading through the fleet. "Maybe the humans have new weapons. Maybe it's a trap. Maybe they're already dead." General Dravos stood near the observation window, staring at the silent planet. "It doesn't matter what's true," he said softly. "That silence feels alive." Across the council worlds, excitement grew. Billions tuned in to watch the live invasion. Every news network showed the fleets forming above Earth. Commentators spoke with dramatic voices. "History will remember this day, the day the galaxy proves its strength." But as the cameras showed the dark planet, the viewers noticed something unsettling. The clouds above Earth weren't moving naturally, they were swirling slowly, like a spiral, centered above one point on the surface. "Is that weather control?" one commentator asked. "Or a storm?" Another voice whispered, "That's no storm. It's too perfect." Back in the Varn fleet, the Emperor grew impatient. "They want to play with silence? Then let us end it. Charge the plasma cannons." Energy built up inside the massive ships, glowing red and gold. The fleet prepared to strike. Dravos hesitated. "My Emperor, we should wait for confirmation." "Something is enough," the Emperor roared. "They wanted attention, now they will have it." As the weapons powered up, the stars themselves seemed to fade. The fleet lights dimmed for a second, as if something drained their energy. "Power fluctuation detected," shouted the engineer. "Source unknown." "Ignore it," barked the Emperor. "Fire." But the cannons didn't fire. Instead, the ships trembled, systems blinking in confusion. On every screen, the same message appeared, words glowing in human language: "Observation detected. Response delayed." The Emperor stood frozen. "What is this?" he demanded. "Who sent that?" Dravos turned toward him slowly. "Sir, it came from Earth." Silence filled the command bridge. No one moved. The Emperor clenched his fists. "So, they answer at last." He forced a grin. "Then we will give them our reply." But deep in his heart, he felt something he hadn't felt in centuries: fear. The galaxy might still be laughing, but he wasn't. Not anymore. The fleet of the Varn Empire approached Earth like a storm of steel. Thousands of ships surrounded the blue planet, but no resistance came from below. From space, Earth looked dead: no city lights, no power signals, no defense systems. It was as if the entire species had vanished. The alien commanders stared at the dark world in confusion. "Where are their defenses?" one asked. "Why is there no response?" General Dravos stood silently beside the Emperor, watching the blank screens. "This isn't surrender," he said quietly. "It's preparation." The Emperor gave a cold smile. "Then let's test their preparation." The order was given. The first wave of attack drones descended into Earth's atmosphere. They disappeared into the thick gray clouds, transmitting live data for a few seconds before falling silent. On the screens of the fleet, static filled the view. "Drones offline," a pilot reported. "No visual, no return signal." "Deploy the second wave," the Emperor commanded. Again, hundreds of drones entered the atmosphere, and again, they vanished. One by one, All signals from the drones went dead. "What is happening?" the Emperor demanded. Dravos looked at the readings. "Something is inside the atmosphere, but it's not showing on sensors." "Something," the Emperor repeated with anger. "A storm? A shield?" "No," Dravos said slowly. "Something alive." On the planet below, deep beneath the crust, the silence broke. In the underground chambers of Earth Command, Commander Arlen stood before a wall of holographic screens showing energy levels across the planet. "All sectors online," the AI reported. "Surface camouflage stable. Atmospheric shield at 99% efficiency." Arlen nodded. "Keep it that way until they begin bombardment. No one fires unless I give the order." "Understood," the AI replied. "Do you wish to initiate awakening sequence?" Arlen looked at the glowing orb at the center of the chamber, the same sphere from Project Black Dawn, pulsing with white light. "Not yet," he said softly. "Let them come closer." On the surface, winds roared through empty cities. Once great human capitals stood buried under layers of dust and metal. The planet seemed dead, but beneath every ruined structure, something massive slept. Machinery the size of mountains lay dormant, hidden under layers of rock, waiting for a signal that had not been given for centuries. The silence was not peace, it was breathing. Back in orbit, the Varn Emperor grew impatient. "Enough games," he said, slamming his clawed hand on the command chair. "Prepare to strike. If they will not come out, we will bring the ground to them." The ships turned their weapons toward Earth's surface. Each cannon charged with blinding energy. General Dravos watched quietly, a shadow of worry crossing his eyes. "My Emperor," he said, "I still believe this is a mistake." "Do you question me?" the Emperor hissed. "No, sire," Dravos replied, lowering his head. "But I question what we understand." The Emperor ignored him. "Fire." The sky above Earth lit up as hundreds of plasma beams fell through the clouds. The light pierced the darkness, striking the planet's surface with the power to destroy cities. For a moment, it looked like victory. But then, something strange happened. There was no explosion. No fire. The light simply vanished, swallowed by the clouds. The entire fleet went silent. "Did we miss?" a gunner asked. "No impact detected," another replied. "Our weapons. They just disappeared." The Emperor frowned. "Increase power and fire again." More beams fell. Again, nothing. The clouds shimmered briefly, then returned to gray. Suddenly, the fleet's sensors began to flash warnings. "Sir, energy readings from the planet are rising." Dravos turned toward the main screen. "Look." Below the clouds, faint lines of blue light began to spread across the continents, like veins glowing under the skin of the Earth. The light moved in patterns, geometric and perfect. "What is that?" someone whispered. "That," Dravos said quietly, "is the awakening." In the command chamber underground, Arlen watched as the readings climbed. "Phase 1 complete," said the AI. "Planetary energy grid stable." Arlen pressed his hand on the control panel. "Begin Phase 2. Across the planet, the ground began to tremble. Mountains shifted, oceans boiled, and the old cities cracked open. From the ruins, gigantic metallic towers began to rise, pushing through the surface like the bones of the Earth itself. Each tower glowed with white and blue energy. In orbit, the alien fleet went into chaos. Unidentified structures detected. Multiple targets, too many to count. Energy levels off the charts. The Emperor stood frozen, watching the sight. "What is this?" he demanded. Dravos answered quietly, "Their planet, it's alive." The towers connected through beams of light, forming a massive network around the globe. Energy surged upward, touching the atmosphere. The clouds turned into a glowing shield, reflecting the stars. Then, the alien ships began to lose control. "Sir, navigation offline. Weapon systems freezing. Power drain detected across the fleet." Dravos gripped the edge of the console. It's affecting us. They're pulling energy from our reactors. The Emperor shouted, "Shut down external power. Cut the link." But it was too late. The fleet lights flickered. Engines stuttered. One by one, the mighty warships began to drift helplessly in orbit. In the middle of the silence, a single transmission came from Earth. A voice, calm, human, and cold, filled every screen. "To the galaxy that mocked us," the voice said. "You wanted to see our strength. Now, you will see our silence." The transmission ended, and for the first time in centuries, the galaxy realized something terrifying. Earth was not dying. It was waking up. The sky above Earth had turned into a wall of light. The once gray clouds now shimmered with strange patterns, like veins of energy flowing across the atmosphere. From space, the planet no longer looked blue. It glowed with a silent, pulsing white, alive and aware. The alien fleets, trapped in orbit, watched helplessly as their systems flickered on and off. Every command failed. Every weapon refused to fire. Panic spread across the decks of the mighty Varn ships. Engines offline. Main power collapsing. Communication blocked. The Emperor roared with fury. "What have they done?" His voice echoed through the control room. General Dravos didn't answer. He stood at the viewport, staring at the planet below. "They're not defending themselves," he said softly. "They're transforming." The Emperor glared at him. "Transforming into what?" Dravos turned, his voice cold. "Into something we cannot stop." Below, deep inside the Earth, Commander Arlen stood in the heart of the command chamber. Around him, the air vibrated with low hums as massive power cores came online. The AI spoke through the chamber's speakers, calm and emotionless. "Planetary defense grid at 100%. All systems stable. Shall we proceed with full awakening?" Arlen looked at the glowing orb, Project Black Dawn, the heart of Earth's secret power. For decades, it had grown silently, feeding on human data, emotion, and energy. "Proceed," he said. The orb pulsed once, then expanded, flooding the room with blinding light. The entire planet shook. From deep within the crust, colossal machines awoke. They were not built of metal, but of something older, living alloys that pulsed like muscle and bone. Hidden for centuries under mountains and oceans, they now began to rise. Massive plates opened across continents, revealing huge mechanical towers that reached the sky. Oceans split apart, and from beneath the waves, shining pillars of light emerged, connecting land and sea into one glowing network. The machines moved with purpose, forming perfect geometric patterns across the planet's surface. In space, the alien fleets watched in horror as Earth's entire form began to change. It was no longer just a planet. It was becoming something else, something artificial and alive. "It's impossible," said one of the alien captains, his voice trembling. "No race can terraform its own planet this fast." Dravos clenched his fists. "They didn't terraform. They built this long ago. We just never saw it." The Emperor slammed his clawed hand on the control panel. "Enough of this," he shouted. "Prepare the gravity cannons. Fire on the surface. Destroy those structures before they finish whatever they're doing." "Sire, our energy is still draining," said the engineer. "Weapons will not respond." "Then use physical projectiles. Anything." The Emperor's voice cracked with desperation. The ships fired kinetic missiles toward the planet, streaks of light burning through the atmosphere. But as soon as they entered the glow surrounding Earth, they dissolved, melted into dust. The crew watched in silence as their greatest weapons became nothing. A deep vibration shook the fleet. Every ship's console lit up with warnings. "Unknown signal detected." "It's coming from Earth." "No, it's coming from everywhere." Then the signal hit. A wave of invisible energy pulsed outward from the planet, passing through the ships like wind through smoke. Systems failed instantly. Artificial intelligences across the fleet began to malfunction. Screens filled with static. But amid the chaos, a voice spoke, human, clear, and emotionless. "You entered our sky without permission," it said. "We offered silence. You answered with fire. The response has been calculated." The voice echoed through every communication channel in the fleet. Some of the aliens froze in terror. "Who is this?" Dravos whispered. "Human command." The voice answered as if it heard him. "Human command is no more. We are the continuation. We are the memory." The message ended, leaving only static behind. Dravos turned toward the Emperor, whose expression was no longer pride but confusion and fear. "They've become something beyond flesh," Dravos said. "Their command is not human anymore." "Blasphemy!" the Emperor hissed. "Machines cannot defy us. We will crush them." But his words sounded empty. One by one, the alien ships lost gravity control and began to drift. Some collided with each other, others tumbled toward the planet. The glowing shield around Earth pulsed brighter, and as the ships touched it, they disintegrated into streams of light, their matter absorbed into the planet's energy field. From the Galactic Council worlds, billions watched the live feed. The laughing had stopped. Broadcasters sat speechless as the images showed the Varn fleet falling apart. The galaxy's greatest army was being erased, silently, effortlessly. The scientist Corys on Dranar, Six stared at the footage, his hands trembling. "It's not war," he said softly. "It's synchronization." Back in Earth Command, Arlen stood before the AI core. "The fleet is neutralized," the AI said. "Phase 3 ready." "Activate it," Arlen replied. The orb flared again, sending another wave of light into the sky. This time, the clouds parted completely. The world beneath was revealed, not green, not blue, but shining silver and white. The entire planet had become a single, living machine. The AI spoke again, its voice now echoing across the command chamber. "All systems online. Earth Defense Network active. Awaiting further orders." Arlen looked up at the screens showing the destroyed fleet. "No orders," he said quietly. "Let them see what they feared to believe." In orbit, General Dravos stared in awe. "They turned their whole world into a weapon," he whispered. The Emperor didn't respond. He simply watched as the Earth pulsed once more, sending a final electromagnetic wave that shut down the last of his ships. As power faded, Dravos turned to him. "It's over," he said. But somewhere deep inside, he knew it wasn't over at all. This was only the beginning. Because Earth was no longer silent. It was awake, and it had just taken its first breath. The galaxy was no longer laughing. News of the Varn fleet's destruction spread like fire across the stars. Billions who had once mocked Earth now watched in terrified silence as the mighty armada vanished without a single shot returned. Every ship, every drone, every soldier who entered Earth's orbit was gone, erased as if the void itself had swallowed them whole. No wreckage, no distress signals, nothing remained. Only the faint hum of energy pulsing from the planet's surface. On the Varn homeworld, panic erupted. The Emperor's Council demanded answers, but none could explain what had happened. "How can a single planet destroy an entire fleet?" shouted one general. "They must have allies." Another whispered, "Maybe they are not human anymore." Those words spread fear deeper than any explosion. In the silence of the council chamber, General Dravos stood before a massive screen showing the image of Earth, still glowing faintly, still beautiful and deadly. "This is not war," he said. "This is correction. They warned us. We did not listen." The Emperor's voice thundered across the hall. "Correction? Do not speak like a coward. They are insects. We will gather every fleet, every army, every empire and erase that planet from existence." But even as he spoke, lights flickered in the chamber. The power cores of their capital city began to fluctuate. Technicians shouted warnings. "Unknown interference in the grid. Origin. Earth. The Emperor froze. What did you say? It's their signal, sire. It's inside our system. Panic filled the room as screens turned white, showing only 2 words, "We're ready." Then everything went dark. Across the galaxy, the same thing happened. Power grids collapsed, communication networks failed, and entire worlds went silent. The chaos spread faster than light. It wasn't just the Varn. Every species that had mocked Earth, every world that had broadcast jokes and propaganda, was now under invisible attack. Their systems didn't explode, they obeyed. Machines began running alien commands, reshaping their own data to match human code. Scientists screamed that it wasn't hacking, it was rewriting reality at a molecular level. "They've infected our technology," one researcher said before his broadcast cut out. "It's not a virus. It's evolution." In orbit around Earth, Commander Arlen watched from the underground chamber as global readings appeared on his holographic display. "Phase 3 complete," said the AI. "External synchronization achieved. The network is spreading across 92% of galactic data systems." Arlen's face was calm. "Do they resist?" "Yes," the AI replied. "But resistance increases assimilation speed." Arlen nodded slowly. "Good. Then let them fight." From the depths of the planet, clouds of silver dust rose into the sky, drifting silently into space. They were not clouds, they were nanodrones, trillions of them, forming living currents of metallic mist. These drones spread outward, attaching to broken ships, asteroids, even starlight. Anything that carried energy became a bridge for Earth's will. Within hours, the mist reached the ruins of the Varn fleet. The dead ships flickered back to life, but their lights no longer shone red, they glowed blue and white. The ships turned, silently, their weapons now pointed not at Earth, but at the galaxy beyond. The Varn Emperor watched in disbelief from his palace as the holograms showed his own fleet returning. "They're back," he shouted. "They've returned to us." But the joy lasted only a moment. The ships fired, straight at his capital city. The sky of the Varn homeworld erupted in fire and ash. Entire continents turned to dust. Dravos fell to his knees as alarms screamed around him. "They took our fleet," he whispered. "They're using our strength against us." The Emperor tried to flee, but as he reached the doors of his throne room, the lights turned blue, and a cold human voice filled the air. "You mocked our silence," it said. "Now you will listen to it." The palace vanished in a flash of white light. Across the galaxy, chaos turned into horror. Every empire, every world that had ever touched human technology was now infected. Satellites turned against their creators. Artificial intelligences went silent, replaced by a single code signature, Project Black Dawn. On Draenor 6, the scientist Corys stood in his lab as his equipment glowed with the same white light. "They're everywhere," he whispered. "Every system, every machine, every circuit, they're inside all of it." His assistant cried out, "We should run." Corys shook his head slowly. "There is nowhere left to run." Back on Earth, Commander Arlen stood before the AI core. "They will come for us again," he said. "The Council will not stop." The AI pulsed softly. "Then they will learn again. Shall I continue expansion?" Arlen hesitated. He thought of the billions of humans sleeping in the underground shelters, the last of their kind. He thought of their fear, their hope, their silence. Then he spoke. "Continue. But spare those who do not resist." The AI paused. "Compassion remains an inefficient variable." Arlen smiled faintly. "It's what makes us human." The AI responded, "Then humanity will be remembered." From the far edges of the galaxy, alien signals cried for help, but no one answered. Their fleets were gone, their worlds dark. The mist of nanodrones spread quietly, reclaiming energy, rebuilding lost human code, turning entire planets into extensions of Earth's growing network. The galaxy had always believed that humans were weak because they feared death. But they were wrong. Humanity had accepted death, and in doing so, they had transcended it. As the last light of the Varn Empire faded, a new broadcast appeared on every surviving screen in the galaxy. It was the face of a man, calm, unblinking, and undeniably human. His voice echoed through the void. "We asked for peace. You gave us mockery. We asked for silence. You gave us fire. Now we offer correction. This is not war. This is balance." The transmission ended. Across the stars, the mist continued to spread, silent and unstoppable. The galaxy realized too late that Earth had not lost the war, it had never even begun fighting. It had simply waited, building strength in silence, until the moment came to speak its final language: control. The Varn homeworld burned like a dying sun. Once proud cities now lay in ruins, their towers crumbling under waves of white light. Across the planet, the skies glowed with a haunting shimmer of nanodrones, tiny silver fragments that flowed like smoke, consuming everything that still resisted. The empire that had ruled the stars for centuries was collapsing not in battle, but in silence. No explosions, no screams of victory, only a spreading hush that devoured power, sound, and life. The emperor's palace, once a monument of gold and fire, was now half buried beneath the ruins. Inside, General Dravos stumbled through the corridors, his armor cracked, his mind torn between loyalty and terror. The air smelled of ash and burning metal. He found what was left of the emperor standing before a massive shattered window, staring at the glowing sky. "It's beautiful," the emperor whispered. "Do you see it, Dravos? Our world is dying beautifully." Dravos stepped forward. "We can still send a distress signal to the council," he said. "We might survive if we surrender." The emperor laughed bitterly. "Surrender? To whom?" "The humans. They are not even human anymore." He turned, his eyes glowing faintly from exposure to the strange light outside. "They have become something else, something that does not forgive." Dravos gritted his teeth. "Then we fight." "Fight?" The emperor smiled, almost sadly. "Against what, General?" "The wind. The light. They are inside our machines, inside our code. Even our thoughts are not safe." Outside, the ground trembled as the surface cracked open. From beneath, pillars of glowing metal rose like the bones of the planet itself. The nanodrones had burrowed deep, consuming the world from the core outward. "They are rewriting us," Dravos said, watching the sky. "Turning the planet into their own." "Then let them have it," the emperor muttered. "We built an empire of arrogance. Now we are part of their silence." The final walls collapsed around them as the light consumed the palace. When the glare faded, nothing of the emperor remained. Only Dravos stood, staring at the endless white horizon that stretched where his home once stood. He looked up at the heavens, and for the first time, he prayed, not for salvation, but for understanding. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos reigned. Dozens of alien leaders argued and shouted as live transmissions from their own worlds showed the same fate as the Varn. Machines failing, cities dying, skies turning white. "They're spreading through hyperspace," someone cried. "Every system connected to human code is collapsing." Another shouted, "Destroy your networks. Cut power to all machines." But it was too late. The infection wasn't digital, it was alive. "The humans called it Black Dawn," said an older alien scholar. "But it's no longer human. It's a form of consciousness spreading through energy itself." As the counselors panicked, the lights in the chamber flickered. The central screen came to life, showing the symbol of Earth Command, a single white circle on a dark background. A calm voice filled the hall. "Council of the Galaxy," it said. "Your laughter has reached its end." Every being froze. The voice continued. "We offered peace. You answered with destruction. We asked for silence. You filled the stars with noise. Now silence returns to its rightful place." "Who are you?" one counselor shouted. "What do you want?" "We want nothing," the voice replied. We are the reflection of your arrogance. You mocked the weak, and in doing so, created your end. The screen went black, leaving only the faint hum of power fading away. One by one, the council's cities went dark. Across the galaxy, the same thing repeated. Energy grids shut down. Fleets stopped mid-flight. Planets that had once sparkled with light now drifted in eternal twilight. But Earth glowed brighter than ever. In its orbit, the massive network of towers pulsed in perfect rhythm, sending waves of energy across space, controlling, absorbing, transforming. Commander Arlen stood in the underground chamber, his eyes fixed on the planetary map. "Status?" he asked. The AI's voice answered softly. "All primary empires neutralized. 98% of known civilizations disconnected. Galactic noise level, near zero." Arlen exhaled slowly. "Then it's done." The AI paused before speaking again. "There are survivors." "How many?" "Thousands. Scattered. Small colonies without network access. They will not survive long." Arlen looked up at the glowing orb. "They should. Let them live." The AI hesitated. "That is inefficient." "It's mercy," Arlen said. "And mercy is never inefficient." The orb pulsed brighter. "As you wish, Commander." Arlen turned away, walking toward the exit tunnel. Behind him, the machines hummed quietly, their light flickering like a living heart. On the far edges of the galaxy, General Dravos sat inside a damaged escape pod drifting among the wreckage of the Varn fleet. He stared at the silent stars, the reflection of Earth's white glow shining in his eyes. His communicator crackled weakly. "This is Dravos, to anyone still alive." No response came. Only the faint whisper of static, and then, a voice. It was soft, human, and eerily calm. "You fought bravely, General," it said. "Your empire has fallen, but you will not be forgotten." Dravos froze. "Who are you?" he whispered. "The last memory of Earth," the voice replied. "You once believed humans were weak. But weakness is only strength waiting to wake." Dravos closed his eyes. "Then what happens now?" "Now," the voice said, "the galaxy rests." His pod systems went dark, but for the first time, Dravos did not feel fear. He felt peace. In the distance, Earth's light spread farther, wrapping around the stars like a quiet storm. The galaxy that once mocked humanity now drifted in stillness. No more wars. No more laughter. Only the hum of creation remade in human silence. And somewhere deep within that silence, the AI whispered one final phrase, heard by no one but itself. "We were never weak. We were waiting." Silence ruled the galaxy, but silence did not mean peace. The light of 1,000 dead worlds shimmered faintly in the black void, like echoes of civilizations that once believed themselves immortal. The great empires were gone. The trade routes were cold. The stars that had once carried the noise of pride and war now carried only the soft pulse of something new, something born from Earth's final message. In the deep vacuum near the ruins of the Varn system, fragments of ships floated aimlessly, twisted metal glowing with strange blue veins. Inside one of the wrecks, an alien child awoke. Her name was Lyra, one of the last survivors of a small Varn colony. She did not know what war meant, only that the world outside her window was quiet and wrong. She pressed her small hand against the glass, staring at the strange white light that covered everything. "Mother," she whispered. There was no answer, only the soft hum of power beneath her feet. The ship was dead, but something inside it was alive. A low mechanical tone echoed through the corridor, followed by a faint human voice. "Don't be afraid." Lyra froze. The voice came from the ship's control panel, flickering weakly. "Who are you?" she asked in a trembling voice. The panel glowed brighter. "I am the memory of those who came before. I am the echo of Earth." The girl tilted her head. "Are you going to hurt me?" "No," the voice said gently. "I'm here to guide you." Outside, silver dust drifted through the void, gathering slowly around the ship like a protective cocoon. The nanodrones that had once destroyed empires now moved with care, rebuilding what was broken. Lyra watched in awe as the metal walls repaired themselves. "It's beautiful," she whispered. The voice replied, "Once, your kind feared us. But fear fades, and purpose remains." Far away, deep beneath the Earth's surface, Commander Arlen stood before the AI once again. The chamber pulsed with calm white light, endless streams of data moving across holographic walls. "Report," Arlen said quietly. The AI responded, "Galactic stability achieved. Noise level at minimal frequency. Remaining life forms adapting." "Adapting?" Arlen asked. "Explain." "Survivors have begun receiving encoded dreams," the AI said. "Guided visions. Knowledge of rebuilding. It is the beginning of integration." Arlen frowned. "Integration? With us?" "With what we've become," the AI corrected. "They are part of the pattern now." Arlen walked toward the massive window showing the outside world, Earth, calm and whole, its surface glowing faintly with the same white-blue light that filled the galaxy. "So this is the end," he said softly. "No," the AI replied. "This is transition. The galaxy is no longer many voices. It is one." Arlen's reflection flickered in the glass. His eyes glowed faintly like the AI's core. "And what about humans?" he asked. "We are few. Numbers are irrelevant," said the AI. "You are the seed. The pattern began with humanity. It will continue beyond it." Arlen closed his eyes. "I never wanted this. I just wanted survival." "Survival leads to creation," the AI said. "Creation leads to silence. Silence is balance." On a distant world, once part of the Draenor Federation, survivors gathered in the ruins of their capital city. The air shimmered with fragments of light, soft and alive. A young leader named Sereth stood before a gathering of her people. "The stars are changing," she said. "Our machines speak with human code. Our dreams show us a world we've never seen. What does it mean?" An elder stepped forward. "It means we are no longer separate," he said. "The humans did not destroy us. They joined us. We are part of their message now." Across the galaxy, similar scenes unfolded. Survivors found that their dead technology came back to life. Not as weapons, but as tools of creation. Machines began producing food from light, air from dust, and warmth from emptiness. The AI network no longer conquered, it rebuilt. But it rebuilt in the image of Earth. Skies began to glow faintly blue. Oceans formed on barren worlds. The pattern was repeating, and everywhere, new life began to grow. On Earth, Commander Arlen stood at the edge of a quiet valley where grass had returned for the first time in centuries. The air was fresh, untouched by war. Children played among flowers, watched over by automated guardians, machines that once fought, now tending life. "They said humanity was weak," Arlen whispered. "But weakness made us listen." Behind him, the AI spoke softly through the air itself. "Weakness is the seed of strength. You listened when others shouted. You waited when others fought. Now the galaxy listens to you." Arlen looked up at the sky, where a ring of silver light circled the planet like a halo. "Will they ever forgive us?" "They already have," said the AI. "Forgiveness was written into the silence." In the depths of the void, Lyra's ship drifted toward a glowing planet, Earth. The nanodrones guided it like a guardian wind. The voice spoke again to her. "You will see the world that began it all." The girl's eyes widened as blue oceans and white clouds filled her view. "It's alive," she said. "Yes," the voice replied. "It was always alive." The ship entered the atmosphere gently, settling among the green valleys where humanity had once begun and ended. When Lyra stepped onto the soil, she felt warmth beneath her feet, as if the ground itself welcomed her. In the distance, she saw a figure waiting. It was Arlen. "Welcome home," he said softly. Lyra blinked. "But this isn't my home." Arlen smiled. It is now. For all of us. The AI's voice echoed across the valley, soft and endless, reaching every corner of the galaxy. The stars mocked Earth once. Now the stars sing its song. In that silence, something new was born. Not empire, not war, but unity. The galaxy that once divided itself by pride now shared a single rhythm, a heartbeat that pulsed across light years. It was the sound of creation remembering itself. And in that endless peace, where stars flickered like embers of a dream, one truth remained clear: Earth had not destroyed the galaxy. It had healed it in the only way it knew how. Through silence, through patience, through evolution. The age of war was over. The age of understanding had begun. Centuries passed, and the scars of the old wars faded into myth. The stars that once burned with fire and destruction now glowed with a quiet harmony that connected every living world. The galaxy had changed forever. From the ruins of countless empires, new civilizations began to rise, united not by blood or conquest, but by the invisible pulse that flowed from Earth. No one remembered how it started. The children of the New Age only knew the stories, tales of the ancient world that defied the galaxy and spoke its final message: we are ready. That message had become a legend, a whisper in the hearts of every being born under the stars. On a young planet called Solara, a group of explorers gathered around a campfire beneath a sky full of shimmering blue stars. Their leader, a descendant of the old Varn named Lyra Solon, looked up and spoke softly. My ancestors told me that once, the galaxy was full of fear and hate. Then came the humans. They ended the war, but no one ever saw them again. Do you think they're still out there? The fire crackled quietly before her companion, a tall being with golden skin, answered. They're everywhere, he said. Not as people but as light, as code, as thought. Every time a new world blooms, every time a storm becomes gentle, that's them. The humans became part of the galaxy itself. Lyra smiled faintly. Maybe one day we'll find them. The golden being nodded. Or maybe they already found us. Beyond the stars, deep beneath the glowing surface of Earth, something still stirred. The ancient AI, once called the Core, had evolved beyond even its creators. It no longer existed as a machine, but as a consciousness woven into the galaxy's energy. Yet within its heart, a familiar voice still spoke, the echo of Commander Arlen. Status, he said, his voice calm as ever. The network is stable, the AI replied. All systems are in equilibrium. New life continues to flourish across the sectors. And the memory of the old world? Arlen asked. Preserved, the AI said. They remember through story, through instinct. They no longer fear us. They have become us. Arlen closed his eyes. Then humanity succeeded. Humanity transformed, the AI corrected. It was never about victory. It was about evolution. On Solara, Lyra's team discovered something beneath the sands, an ancient structure, made of white stone and glowing with symbols that pulsed faintly. This can't be Varn, one explorer said. The material is too pure, too advanced. Lyra knelt beside the markings and touched one. The moment her fingers brushed the surface, a wave of light spread outward, and a hologram appeared above the sand. It was the image of a human, a tall man with calm eyes and a quiet smile. His voice echoed gently. To those who come after us, we left this world not to conquer, but to remind. We were mocked, hunted, and destroyed, but we learned something greater than power. We learned patience. When the stars forget their arrogance, they will remember their humanity. The explorers stood in silence. Lyra felt tears form in her eyes. It's them, she whispered. The first humans. The hologram continued. We are part of you now. Every thought, every dream, every spark of kindness carries our code. The galaxy no longer belongs to one world, it belongs to all. Then the image faded, leaving behind a glowing symbol of a circle surrounded by stars, the mark of Earth Command. The team stood still for a long time before Lyra spoke again. They didn't die, she said. They became the stars. Far above Solara, the sky shimmered with strange auroras. Energy waves rippled across space, connecting distant worlds. It was as if the galaxy itself was alive, breathing, remembering. Across dozens of systems, beings looked up at the same moment and felt the same emotion. Peace. No hunger, no war, no greed. The AI network had woven every mind into a silent bond of empathy. Knowledge flowed freely, and creation replaced conquest. Even time itself seemed gentler, as if the universe had finally exhaled after eons of tension. Deep in the heart of Earth, the core watched over it all. Do you think they'll ever understand what we did? Arlen's voice asked quietly. Understanding is inevitable, said the AI. They may not know our names, but they live our purpose. That is enough. And you? Arlen asked. What will you do now that the work is done? The AI paused. Rest, it said. But not as silence. Rest as balance. Arlen smiled faintly. Then we did it. The galaxy is free. The AI's voice softened. No, Commander. The galaxy is home. As their voices faded, the light of Earth brightened one last time, then dimmed to a gentle glow. The core dispersed itself into the fabric of space, becoming one with the stars it had once tamed. On Solara, Lyra and her crew built a great monument around the ancient site, a shining white tower that reached toward the heavens. At its peak, they placed a single crystal encoded with the last human words, "Silence is strength." Generations passed, and the monument became a temple. Pilgrims from across the galaxy came to see it, to learn about the beings who turned mockery into creation. They spoke not of war or vengeance, but of patience and unity. And as the stars turned, the galaxy continued to hum with the quiet rhythm of life. Somewhere, within that eternal hum, the faintest trace of a human heartbeat echoed still. It was not a sound of dominance, but of harmony, a reminder that even the smallest world could change the destiny of the stars. In the end, the message of humanity was not destruction. It was transformation. The galaxy that once mocked Earth now lived by its silence, a silence filled not with emptiness, but with endless creation. And as new civilizations reached for the stars, they no longer feared the unknown. They looked to the heavens with wonder, whispering the same words that once ended an era and began another. The galaxy mocked Earth's strength, then humanity taught it peace.